I'm going to demonstrate how to make a pitcher that has faceted sides and a cut lip, cut rim on it. I'm taking probably about 2.5 pounds of clay and this porcelain. It's called Nara porcelain, N-A-R-A, and I get it from Aardvark Company in Los Angeles area. So I'm going to open it up. The main thing to remember when you're faceting is to not throw the pot too thinly, because if you do, you'll cut through the sides. That's just one pull. I'm going to give another, just a real easy pull this time. Remove a lot of clay. I'm going to put a little area right there. And I'm going to facet from the bottom to that little line that I made there. Take my middle rib and accentuate that area just a little bit. Take most of the finger marks out of here. And then I'm going to put a little undercut right there. That'll give a place for my wire to go under. I've got two cheese cutters here. Now this one, I know you won't be able to see it on the video, but this one has a very slight crimp in it. And actually what it is the wire that I took off of a cutting wire, just like this, the Kemper cutting wire. So I unwound those wires, and so I used one of the windings on that, and so it's got these little from the twist, it'll make a very slight, subtle design in it. So I'm turning the wheel very slowly. Start the bottom, pull up, going around. I'm leaving just a little bit of space in between the facets. It's not the best job I've ever done. Must be the pressure of doing the video. At any rate, I'm going to see how it looks. Putting some lines in there. I'm going to expand this out in just a second so the lines will stretch out too. And I'm going to remove the lines that I kind of nicked in that area. Okay, now I'm going to use my hand inside, press out. Now this is where if you cut it too thinly, you're going to find that it'll start wrinkling, buckling on you. You might even go through the clay. Oh, my head's not going. Let's see where we're at so far. See how that line that I use the pen tool in is stretching out? Again, if you do that too deep, also the pot will just rip. And I'm going to use the metal rib, stretch it out a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm going to thin the top a little bit. Use the metal rib to refine it. Yeah. I'm going to switch to another wire. This is just a straight wire. It's a little bit thicker. It's the same thing. And I'm going to turn the wheels very slowly again. Cut down like that. Just hold it still. Pull it up. There. Now I'm going to take my fingers, kind of dry them off, and thin this rim out just by pinching and pulling. Your fingers shouldn't be too wet, otherwise it won't move the clay. And if they're too dry, it'll kind of pull the clay off. So have a little bit of moisture, but not too much. Now you can't see it, but I've got a mirror in front of me. And that's not to look at myself, but it's to you get a different perspective. Instead of having to go way over with your head and look at the piece, just look in the mirror and I can see whether that spout is even. That doesn't have to be perfectly even, because I can take the sponge and later on, in particular after it's set up, and round it off. So, but I'd like it more or less even. That is, to have a nice kind of gentle curve to it. And once I've got that done, I'll wet my finger, grab it on both sides of the spout like that, and then kind of roll my finger back and forth, down inside, and up toward the top. Inside, and toward the top. I'll lay that over a little bit. Now I'm going to round this off just a little bit. Tomorrow, after I throw the piece, I'll round off this edge even more. I've got a tool that is, I've mentioned before in another video, that has a little divot in it. It's a metal tool. It's a metal rib really that I've just put on a grinder and cut little divots out of it. I can pull that across there and then round it off and make it look like it just came that way instead of being cut. So that's it. Now, obviously tomorrow I'm going to put the handle on it, and I'll trim it, put the handle on it, and refine the rim, and it'll be ready to dry. And then this will be fired in a soda kiln. That's why these little marks will show up. I hope you can see those on the video, but they're very subtle. But everything shows up in a soda, as I mentioned before. You can even see a fingerprint in porcelain that is done in a soda fire. Now, if you put a heavy glaze on this, you'll just obscure it. You'll obscure that fine detail. You'll still see the facets, but you wouldn't see these little lines there. That's it. Thanks for watching.